From the Middle is a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hello, everyone. This is Dylan from the Middle. I like how that sounds. That has a nice redundant ring to it. We are this week two middle class guys living in the middle of America in the middle chapters of our lives with points of view somewhere in the middle because one of our hosts has to be on the west part of the country and is not in the middle. We won't say who that is, but since I'm talking and I'm here to talk to Kendall, you could probably figure it out. Since it's just Kendall and I, we love talking about things like food. I have an interesting story that might not be that interesting, but I found it interesting. And we talk a little bit about college football at the end. We had a ton of fun, even with Corey absent, but we're excited for him to come back soon. Hope you like it. Check it out.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Sucking down an atomic fireball.
I don't know that I knew those were still around.
I know a guy.
There's a candy shop in your neck of the woods.
There's a candy shop, and I was lamenting to the guy here about a year ago about how they're, and he's like, "You want some?" It's like, "Yeah." He came back with some, and so far, like it's been probably about 6-8 months since I've gotten some from him, but 6-8 months ago, he still had them.
Yeah, and
So,
6 to 8 to 20 years later, they're still good.
exactly. Yeah.
They hold up well. You'll be delighted to know that I'm having compliments of my dearest brother who is not with us today. He's not dead. He's just not on the recording.
Yeah.
I'm having a black cherry citrus fresca.
Ooh. I don't know that I've ever tried any of the fancy frescas, just original.
Speaking of having a hookup,
Great.
he found out that there's peach fresca and black cherry fresca in Colorado, and he has family that goes there. And I said, if you're having them buy, half a pallet, you just throw some on there for me and I'll pay you when they get back.
Indeed.
So it's delightful. I'm a big black cherry fan when it comes to flavors. So it's delicious.
Indeed. Hey, before we move on any further, and this isn't, I just think it's worth mentioning that since the last time we recorded, the Charlie Kirk thing happened. And just to point out again, reiterate again, one of the things that we seek to accomplish or more or less exercise with this podcast is the ability to just have conversations with one another. And where we often agree on things, there have been times where we haven't. And the art of being able to talk is something that is very important for this country. We would encourage people to approach one another with some understanding, including, and I realize that there might be a little bit of tint to these words that I'm going to be using, but violence is violence. Words are not violence. The appropriate reaction to words is never violence. And we need to get back to being able to talk to each other.
Yeah. I think we would all do well, everyone everywhere, to just really bring the rhetoric down, the heat behind the word, bring it all down a little bit. And I think everyone, you do our little sign off in our episode description. Be kind to one another. Kindness goes a really long way, even with the people we seem to have a lot of disagreements with, regardless of which way that's aimed. So yeah just it's a good reminder for all of us that I think it's probably fun as it can be for politicians anywhere to sort of rile up their own party. What always feels true to me is that we have far more in common with our neighbors that represent a different color political party than we probably have in common with the people that claim to represent us. So
Probably.
most people just want a nice place to live and some good food and to spend time with family and enjoy their hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the other stuff is um, it's not worth some of the escalation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay, bud.
good reminder.
Yeah.
Back to things that are atomic. Yeah, so Corey is out. If you didn't catch my little quick segue
Mhm.
earlier, Corey's gone this week. He's traveling. Hopefully, he's having a really nice time. And Where in the World is we're gonna play Where in the World is Carmen San Diego, but with Corey over the next couple months, I think. So for anyone who doesn't love listening to my voice, probably not your episode this week. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a lot less smooth and cultured Corey and a lot more crass robotic Dylan.
Yeah,
So, that's where we are. If that helps. If you need to bail now, hit the eject button.
that's right. That's right. Far less traveled. He was recording from New York, and now he's somewhere on the other coast.
That's true. Yeah, whole other time zone. Several hours behind us, enjoying probably a very nice meal somewhere as we speak, because he's several hours behind. So we'll make sure to bug him about the nice things that he ate when he's eaten when he gets back.
Speaking of meals that we eat, I figured when Corey's away, there's two things that Dylan will talk about: food
Mm-hmm.
and sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a food category that I've been kind of hanging on to. There are people who know me wouldn't be surprised to know that like I actually keep at least a mental running list of like top 5 meals in my head. And so I'm curious, and I did give you a little bit of heads up that I was going to be doing this. What your top 5 meals are, and everybody listening at home or in your car, I want you to put together your list too. And I think you'll find out this is more difficult to do than you would think. Even my list is kind of liquid. Like there's the last couple are liquidatable. As things move in and out. But I'm specifically looking for like a meal. It can be multiple courses or just the main dish or whatever it is you want. I'm not looking for necessarily, oh, my favorite meal is the Chipotle's burrito or whatever. That's fine. If burrito is your favorite food, as in like you go to a Mexican restaurant and you're looking for a particular kind of burrito, then that is the list. Doesn't even have to be restaurant related. So if it's the thing that you get, because that's the thing you want when you go to a restaurant of a particular kind, or you go to someone's house and you hear they're making this, or you go to the church potluck and you're like, I always hope somebody is making the buffalo chicken dip.
Mm-hmm.
Your top 5 meals.
Yeah. This isn't us plugging specific restaurants. Restaurants don't want to sponsor us. So that's not this segment. I love the idea, and you're right. Anyone who's listened for a while knows that if the cat's away, if Corey's away, you and I are probably talking food and sports. So 5 things. How are we going to do this? Are we going to round robin?
Let's trade.
Like,
let's
you do one,
start.
I do one.
How about you kick us off with your number 5?
Oh, I was supposed to rank them too. I didn't rank them.
Well, I guess you don't have to rank them.
Oh,
but I mean, whichever one you say first, I'm going to assume is your least favorite of the 5.
Well, no. Look, this is hard. This exercise is the equivalent of asking me to pick my favorite movie. I'm gonna go. Okay. I don't know. I've got like 20.
I know. Trust me. I was like, I
hard.
Put my list down into a note, and I have like 20 different meals listed here, and I put them into categories and runners up and things like that. And so I'm just going to be like picking my 5 favorites current, like at the moment right now. What am I feeling
in this space and time? And we're not worried about any kind of rules. Like this isn't like Desert Island or Last Meal, Execution Row, Last Meal. It's just like right at the thing. Okay. I'm going to throw out one, and this isn't my least of the 5. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's not my least. And I don't know if this even counts as a meal, a whole meal. But anywhere. Part of the setup for this you gave me was you're going to a restaurant and you always want to order it if you see it. That was like part of the way you sort of text me this premise. And I am virtually always going to get some kind of seafood bisque. If
Oh,
there's a crab bisque or a lobster bisque, gosh, man, I am game. I love it. Eat it every time. I'll enjoy it every time. Some versions are better than others, but I always love it. So I'm gonna come out of left field with a seafood bisque as my first
seafood
choice.
bisque. How about like clam chowder? You clam chowder guy?
I could do clam chowder, but
Okay.
typically I would not be admittedly as excited as I would to see a crab or lobster bisque or
See a
both.
lobster
If you're
bisque.
lucky, maybe you get both in there.
Lobster bisque, man. Lobster bisque is one of those things where it's like there are some fast casual places now that have it, and it's I think Noodles and Company has it, if I'm
Do
not
they?
mistaken. I think so. Which leads me to think that like what are they what are they using? Like what is it you're making that you're making a super affordable lobster bisque? But I also
Yeah.
am a fan of like I eat Kroger sushi relatively regularly and they're using imitation crab. They put it right there on the thing that's what they're doing. And you
I
know
was
what? I like it.
it's
So
still good. I was just gonna say it's probably crab with a K, It's not the
probably,
real. It's
yeah,
not the real stuff. But we've said this many times, Corey and I especially on this podcast. But like I can go and enjoy a super nice steak dinner if I get the pleasure of doing that on a rare occasion, and I can
yeah.
still eat Taco Bell on the way home
I'm
and
with you.
totally enjoy it, or a good hot dog or something. So I'm not too bougie for fast casual bisque. As long
Oh,
as
I'm not either.
as
I've
long as
had,
I don't get sick from it, I'm totally fine.
yeah, absolutely. All right. So I'm going to throw one out. And I think this one is because it's fall and I'm feeling in the mood. But oh, where did it go? Why am I having to read it? Beef pot roast
Mm,
with mashed potatoes. With the pot roasted, and that's the thing. Like the beef pot roast. Also, this one has two kinds of potatoes in it. Obviously, the beef pot roast is the star of the show,
right.
but it's roasted with carrots and chunks of potatoes. But I also want mashed potatoes because there's going to be all that extra jus that I don't want it to go to waste, and so I need something to ladle that on top of.
Yeah. I almost had on my list anything that complements mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
So a good steak or something like that. My mother-in-law, my wife's favorite soup is her mom's. It's just vegetable soup, but it has beef in it and lots of potatoes and carrots and stuff. So it's not just vegetables.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to take the beef out because sometimes the chunks are too big for her. And if
Yeah.
we have mashed potatoes or I can make them, I'll just dump the beef with a little bit of the soup broth on the mashed potatoes. Very
Yes.
similar premise.
You know, I it was a couple years ago. I had made uh, chicken noodle soup for the kids, and then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? We keep a box of instant mashed potatoes in the pantry, and I was like, I'm going to whip that up. I'm going to put a little scoop of mashed potatoes in the bottom of every bowl, and then soup on top of the mashed potatoes. That's how it's going to go down this time.
Yes.
And it's because Cracker Barrel. That's if you get the chicken and dumplings, you have to get mashed potatoes, and that's how they serve it. Is in that manner, and
Noodle
it
soup
was
over mashed
wonderful.
potatoes. I like the cut of your giblet.
That's I didn't know you could see my giblet from there.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it's poking out.
we've only mentioned one official dish.
This is
What's your next one?
this is just one in of each. By the way, I was gonna
Yeah,
ask, do you have any preference? Do you like it? Is it a runnier thing? Do you want really thick and kind of like dense with anything else in the pot roast? Like if dense veggies,
I
thick soupy, or like runny?
yeah. I mean, I like
Thinner?
it if it makes sense. The jus can be whatever. If I feel like making a gravy for the mashed potatoes, then I'll make a gravy for the mashed potatoes. Otherwise, I don't care if that's kind of like a jus.
Okay.
Soupy consistency. That's fine with me. I'll still put that on mashed potatoes, and it's fine.
Okay.
As far as everything else, I wanted to line up to where beef is like entree, and then enough roasted carrots to be a perfectly good side, and then the same thing for the
Technically
yeah.
had your veggies for the day kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Totally get it. Okay, so you asked number two. This probably is the top of my list, although I won't say seafood bisque is at the bottom. It I'm almost never disappointed and or am almost always excited for a cheeseburger with French fries anywhere. It's such a stereotypical
Yeah,
American
absolutely.
Westy.
Hey,
Give me
but
a
a
nice,
good one?
gosh, a good, thick, juicy, medium rare. There's lots of specialty burgers. I'll try them all, but like slap some cheese and pickles and ketchup and mustard and some normal little bit of lettuce. It doesn't have to be crazy. It can be
Yeah,
a totally standard burger. Burgers and fries go a really long way for me.
absolutely. Me too. There's a place in town, a diner in town that I go to because their burger is the best in town by far. And I save my burger calories for when I can go there.
Mm.
It's beautiful. Are you a if you had to differentiate between like being a smash burger guy, which is the new hot thing, or like the thick, juicy pub style burger, or like a normal McDonald's kind of patty, what
Mm.
direction would you go?
I don't discriminate, you know.
Um, you must.
I'm a man of many patties, you know. Um, I'll smash a patty or I'll eat it pub style.
Yeah.
You know, there is such a thing if you're not unless you're like ridiculously hungry. There probably is such a thing as too thick of a patty if you don't want greasy, soggy bun and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I also, if I'm doing a smash burger, I don't want a single patty. Like you better do a double or
Right. That's got to be a
triple,
double.
a
Yeah.
double or triple smash or something. It's going to make it better. But
Totally.
probably somewhere in the middle if I was forced to pick. But
Okay.
I don't discriminate.
I, cool. I love both too, man. And I generally also have burgers, not in my top 5 list, but in my I wish I could say this one list. I will say this one, however, instead. Again, because of time of year, football season, for me on Saturdays means German sausage, sauerkraut, mashed potatoes.
German sausage. So another mashed potato dish. We've got a recurring theme.
I've got mashed potatoes twice. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
German sausage, sauerkraut, mashed potatoes.
yeah.
Are you throwing anything else on there? Are you?
I mean, maybe horseradish if I have it. Sometimes we have that, but always mustard on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is just Bahama Mamas from Schmidt Sausage House are my favorite.
Yep.
But really anything a worst, anything like that, we'll go with the sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is prepared sauerkraut, so not just like cold stuff out of a jar or out of a bag. Like it starts that way.
Yeah.
But you gotta cook it down with some broth and some caraway seeds and maybe some bacon in there.
Would you ever try to, make enemies become allies and throw a little Grey Poupon on that German sausage?
That's Grey Poupon is actually what I generally have. Yeah, that's
Didn't even know
specifically
this.
the country Dijon. So it's like the gritty, seedy stuff.
Do you know to this day,
Yeah.
ingrained in my brain from my childhood, is the guy sitting in the back of the limousine in the commercial, and the kid comes up and whatever, and he's like putting Grey Poupon on in the back of I always thought I knew it had to be fancy in my head. There was no one. It's like the Ferrero Rocher commercials
Mm-hmm.
and the like dun 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 dun. What's that commercial? Whatever that one is, where it's chocolates or food or something. There's some marketing that just worked so well, and maybe so well that I didn't even feel like I could buy it because I'm like, I'm not fancy enough for Grey Poupon.
Yeah.
But we didn't tee this up. That's so great that's your
that is great. And it's so Mr. Mustard is a mustard that I love that used to be at like all the Kroger and Meyer around me, and then now it's not. And I'm pretty sure the company still exists. They're in Ohio somewhere, but so the closest thing to it that I have found has been the country Dijon from Grey Poupon.
Interesting. The other one I was trying to think of was another commercial was the Vienna ice cream cake sandwiches that seemed so fancy.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we'll share it out on social. But let me pull up the Viennetta. I'm gonna try to share screen. If you're on YouTube, you're gonna see it hopefully. And if you're not on YouTube, then you should be. And I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Does this ring a bell? Does this the Viennetta?
Uh, it probably, if I feel like if I were to see the commercial, I would probably
I'm gonna find the commercial.
recognized it.
We're gonna post it. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Cool.
We'll share the commercial out. The people are like in tuxes and slicing it and putting it into fancy like glass serving dishes, and you're like,
ooh,
it made it. Yeah, it was probably like $6 at the grocery store, but that would like.
Well, it's like when you start looking at like artisan mustard prices and things like that, Dijon is a cheap Grey Poupon is a cheap option, right? But
yeah.
It's cool.
Really,
all right,
really fooled us. Is it my next one?
yes.
Oh, okay. So I feel like we've talked about it so much that I feel an obligation and a sense of duty and a little bit of pride and a little bit of disgust. I feel like I have to say pizza because you and I have talked about it so much over the literal hundreds of episodes that we've had. A really great hand tossed pizza goes a really long way with my toppings of choice. And every now and then when I'm feeling a little bougie, stuffed crust. We'll go with stuffed crust. But it's just such an old reliable staple that if I had to narrow, if we're playing rules and it's like you can only ever eat 5 meals again, pizza would have to be in the mix, it can't not be included.
I told myself it would be unfair for me to consider pizza an option when I'm thinking of putting together meals. But I mean, realistically, if anybody ever asks me just flat out, what's your favorite food? Pizza is my answer.
Probably pizza.
100% of the time, pizza is my answer. Hand tossed pizza, much like you, like New York style is my go-to. It is my favorite by far. We differ a little bit from there. Like a second favorite for me would probably be like the Columbus style or the Chicago tavern style. People would be more familiar with that. But yeah,
not everyone can have Grey Poupon tastes, Some of us have dime store tastes, and then we go eat Columbus pizza. I get it.
That's okay. But my real one, pizza is so solid. Grilled or smoked chicken quarters, corn on the cob, and cucumber salad.
Wait, hold on. Say that. That's so many things. Say that all again.
Grilled or smoked. So at home, I'm grilling it, but smoked often at other places. So this is my city barbecue order. Is their half chicken, but chicken quarters with corn on the cob,
right?
And cucumber salad. Are you familiar with the cucumber salad?
Yeah. My wife likes to make it, and it's just all cucumbers, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's cucumbers with like a tangy mayonnaise kind of sauce, right?
Oh, this is a little different.
Okay, think of like a bright acidic coleslaw, but without the cabbage and slices of cucumber instead.
Yeah, I think it's similar. I think hers is supposed to be made with tomatoes and onions, but she just does the cucumbers with like, I don't know if it's vinaigrette or vinegar or whatever, but it's not, there's nothing creamy or like mayo based about it. Different recipes. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one that I grew up with, the cucumber salad, and the family, when I was growing up, it was always like fried or grilled bologna sandwiches, like thick sliced bologna sandwiches.
Yeah.
With corn on the cob and cucumber salad. And I always loved that as a kid. But to be honest, I would much rather have chicken quarters than grilled bologna sandwiches.
Interesting. As you talk about things, you're making me question my list now.
It's like, well, listen, man, you hit 2 of them out of the park for me. And I'm like, I feel like I'm cheating myself by not including hamburgers and pizza.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like such a generic, like everyone could have started this episode and guessed if they knew what I was going to say. But like, what are you going to do? My hands are tied. This is the game we're playing.
You're being true to you, and I respect that.
I am. That's very true. Is it my turn again?
It's your turn. We've got two left.
Okay. I had a really hard time. I feel like there's two things that are so similar. And I'll tell you how my wife put it because I asked her this question before we joined. There's two things that are so similar from a Midwestern perspective. I'm giant asterisks.
Okay.
From a Midwestern perspective, I feel like I need to just pick one.
Yeah.
And it was between tacos and burritos.
Okay.
He said, with how you make it, it's all just different flavors of goop in a tortilla. It's not that. That's you put the same things in both. It's just what's your delivery mechanism? Is it in a
How
soft,
big is your tortilla?
how big is the tortilla? So I'm like, that's fair. But since we were talking about not me making it, but me ordering it, it's a real challenge because I feel like I would often, if price were never an issue, I would often pick seafood. So my brain wants to say shrimp tacos and fish tacos.
Yeah.
Because I freaking love shrimp and fish tacos. But also, I love burritos. And for whatever reason, my brain wants to go with like steak in a burrito. Steak and beans and rice and
You know, it occurs to me just now that I don't think I also like fish tacos. It occurs to me that I have never seen a fish burrito.
You will sometimes get shrimp and steak burritos.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen a fish burrito. Maybe too mushy. Like
maybe
you kind of need the open air of the taco so it doesn't just get all moist.
But like Mexican restaurants, so many times their burritos are like covered in like rojo sauce or something.
Smothered. Yeah. They would totally do it. Any Mexican restaurant, I'm sure, like, hey, take your fish from this one and put it in that thing. And do you think it has to do with the fact that typically when you get seafood, you're typically getting with like a cabbage or slaw or crunchier? You're not getting it with mushy like beans and rice. And I don't know if that's the thing. So I really didn't know how to narrow it down, but I feel like since I already picked seafood bisque, I'm gonna go with like steak burritos.
Okay.
Smother it in queso. I want beans in it and rice and steak and smother it in queso and then a big mound of like rice and beans off to the side too that I can like dip chips in. Maybe pour a little salsa on the sides and the burrito too to mix that in with the queso and like just it's all just swimming together on the plate like a hot tub party. You know what I mean?
We need to go on dinner dates, you and I. We can.
Yeah.
Everybody, like my family thinks I'm weird because like my favorite part of a Mexican restaurant is the rice and beans. Like I don't, if it comes with two sides, those are the two, like there's no other option. You got to eat the rice and you eat the rice and beans together. And if you're going to and it's great for leftovers, like get the chori queso to start your meal. Plan on not finishing the rice and beans, maybe only taste them because microwaved rice and beans is good. Very good the next day.
Yeah.
And might I add, it will omelet.
Yeah. And I'm not one that has to worry too much about, leftovers. That's not a problem I typically have. But I also like the idea of when I know I'm very hungry and you get the big thing of like lettuce and sour cream in one pile and like beans and rice in another, just take it all and just drag it all over the top of the burrito and smother it all. And then I'm just going to like, then
use chips from before.
I'll cut it, and then the shavings that all just go off to the sides. I'm scooping the chips, and it's the innards of the burrito, and it's the lettuce and sour cream and beans and rice all over the place.
I don't know why I just thought of this, but like I wonder if you could just like flag down your server and be like, hey, can I just get like a couple of tortillas real quick? Like how much? I'll pay whatever it is.
Yeah, just charge me for a couple soft taco tortillas. Yeah. They'd totally do that.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, that's basically what the chips are, though, right? So, like, same thing. So I'm gonna go with burritos, but anyone that is still listening at this point should know the shrimp and fish tacos are very, very near and dear to my heart, and that was a very tough decision. So,
understood.
I did it.
All right, my next meal, and this is like what I pretty much always get at an Italian place is the lasagna. I love lasagna. I love all kinds of lasagna, even our weird westernized version of lasagna. I still love it. Garlic bread and a garden salad. That's one of my all-time favorite meals
I get
right
it.
there. I've had that on many. I've had lasagna on birthdays quite often. I
Mhm.
would choose a place that can get me a lasagna,
Yeah.
but
Um, March Madness time, we do the first in, first out, as we're
mhm.
talking about. Yeah, lasagna is probably on the first in list if I were dropping something out.
Yeah.
And I will say I have a bit of a beef with lasagna, pun intended. I feel like I'm a bigger person than I was 30 years ago. But I feel like when I used to order lasagna, you would get just a whopping slice on a
hmm
plate, just a massive hunk. And it tended to be the cheaper dish at a lot of Italian
Hmm.
places, if my memory recalls, other than maybe plain spaghetti. But like some of the nicer seafood dishes and chicken and things like that,
Right. Yeah.
lasagna was relatively inexpensive. I feel like those portions have gotten so much smaller. And that's where I used to be a big leftover guy. Like, I'm going to eat a half of this hunk of lasagna and I'm going to take it home. I'm going to eat it cold tomorrow and I'm going to love it.
Old lasagna is a good time.
Cold lasagna is freaking delicious. So I totally understand. And bonus points if you can take big hunks of lasagna and lay it on garlic bread, like you're putting meat on a
Ooh.
bun and then just eat it like a little sandwich.
Oh, lasagna sandwich. Oh my gosh.
So there you go.
I've never omeleted a lasagna before. That just occurred to me now.
Well,
One of these days. Yeah, lasagna is my it's the mechanism by which I judge an Italian restaurant because
mhm.
it's the only thing I ordered there.
Yeah, see, this is where I get back into the seafood thing. Since we're shouting out Italian places, local Italian places, Bree and I, for 2 anniversaries now in a row, went to a place in Dublin, in Greater Columbus, Ohio area called Valentina's. Shout out to Valentina's. It's a Cameron Mitchell restaurant. Fantastic. And I literally asked the server, I had narrowed down to 2 options, and I said they had like their favorites, like known for list. One of them was
hmm
lasagna, and it sounded so good. And because I'm not BSing, I literally was like my first choice. And I said, "Hey, guy," I think his name was Spencer. "Hey, Spencer, I've narrowed it down to 2. I do this at restaurants a lot. I narrow it down to 2, and then I ask the server because help me decide.
Yeah.
I've narrowed it down. What's more popular, the lasagna or this pesto shrimp pasta? Sounds really good." And it was pesto with like a cream mixed into the pesto sauce
Mm-hmm.
and really good noodle. And I appreciated his response because he could have very easily just said, "Well, yeah, the lasagna is one of the things we're known for. It's very popular." But he said, "The lasagna is very popular because it's kind of a staple Italian dish. But I will say, the pesto shrimp pasta has become my favorite dish, and you won't be disappointed if you order it." He was very firm, and he didn't just
I
go.
know why you're asking, and
He,
here's some actual thought.
he didn't just go, "Yeah, guy, just get the lasagna. It's fine. Everybody likes it." And
Yeah.
I'm sure I would have loved the lasagna, but my pesto shrimp pasta was fantastic. And so I appreciated that Spencer just said, shout out to Spencer. I appreciate that he just said, "I get why you're asking, but
hmm
you should you're gonna like this a lot." And it was great. We had a great experience. If you're in the greater Columbus area and you like Italian, go check out Valentina's.
Okay. Will do. Last one, Dylan. Pick one more.
This is tough.
We can maybe rapid fire some honorable mentions because I feel bad about some of my foods that I've left out.
Yeah, they're gonna be just this is like Toy Story and leaving the toys, in
Exactly.
the box.
Fish and chips is not on my list, and fish and chips is a classic for me.
I was literally just thinking that as we were talking about things that I would totally put on an honorable mention list. Son of a
Yeah.
gun.
Ribs, baby back ribs is on my list, or not on my list, and it's also a staple for me.
It is. Yeah, and especially if we're talking about a whole meal, a really
hmm
good medium rare steak with buttered mashed potatoes, asparagus, and probably a really good roll or bread or something to sort of like sop up the good juices at
Yeah,
the end when I'm
yeah,
done. But this is a really tough call, and I think I'm going to pivot. So honorable mention to sushi because
yeah. Oh, I
I'm
love sushi.
I'm open and would try almost anything, but I think I'm going to actually give it to I'm going to give a breakfast nod.
Nice.
A really great cheese omelet. For fun fact, I eat a cheese omelet and a soft taco shell every day for breakfast. And I still don't get sick of it. A really good omelet with some kind of breakfast potatoes, a little bit of bacon or sausage or both on the side.
Yeah.
I'm a very happy guy. I love breakfast food.
Oh my goodness, dude, this it gets harder and harder. How bad I want to say eggs Benedict right now, and
Do it. You
I'm
can
not
do whatever
going
you
to.
want.
No, because the one that I have left is the one that like 8 times out of 10, if anybody was like, hey, we can go anywhere in town for you to go have dinner, where would it be? And it would be one of a few places. I have my favorite one, but it would be a steakhouse.
Yeah.
And any steakhouse worth its weight is going to give you a nice crusty bread with some butter. So that's definitely part of it. A Caesar salad is part of that for me.
Mm-hmm.
A steakhouse Caesar salad is always wonderful. They do Caesar salads so right at steak places.
You could pretty easily swap in a good garden salad with a homemade ranch if they do their ranch right.
Yeah,
Could be swapped in.
for sure. A New York strip steak is my steak of choice, done medium rare, and a baked potato, which again, often I don't get to, and bring the baked potato home on purpose so that I can have it the next day. And usually not I wouldn't do a baked potato cold, but what I often will do with a baked potato is a baked potato is a great way to do a single serve mashed potato the next day. A baked potato also works to slice up and fry for breakfast in the morning. But baked potatoes are a very close second to my favorite side dish to mashed potatoes.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You ever taken a made or taken a leftover baked potato, sliced it in half? Can't be a huge one. Slice it in half and then put that inside your omelet.
No,
Maybe with a little bit of cream cheese or something to just add a little bit.
So just like an egg wrapped potato.
Yeah. But you need the crispy potato edge on it. So you'd have to like air fry it to reheat something. Then you're getting like the cheesy, gooey, crunchy combination. Yeah.
That would be so good.
There's your next test.
What I thought you were going to say is I said usually baked potatoes are not eaten cold, but there have been times where I've just like not necessarily proud of myself, but I'm not apologizing either. Just grab a hold of the cold baked potato out of the fridge, squirt some ketchup on a plate and dip and eat with my hand.
Sure.
Done that. Don't hate it.
I can't say a whole lot. I've admitted on this podcast that I took cold spaghetti out of a fridge, put it in a tortilla, wrapped it up like a burrito, and ate it. So,
but then a few months later, your daughter was born. So
there you go. There you go. What a great exercise. We had so much fun talking about all kinds of food. Lots of honorable mentions. Turns out we should have done a top 10 because it was hard to pick just 5. So Kendall and I are going to go schedule some lunch dates. In the meantime, you're going to hear from some of our friends in Odd Pods Media.
Greetings, fellow nerds. It's Garrett, your host of the Nodak Nerd, part of Odd Pods Media, the podcast where we explore the vast realms of geekdom. From the latest superhero flicks to retro video games and everything in between, we've got you covered. Join me for insightful reviews, hilarious discussions, and maybe even a few heated debates. Find the Nodak Nerd wherever you listen to podcasts. Let's get nerdy.
If you're into comedy, game shows, and improv, you should come check out BFYTW. We are an adult British-inspired comedy panel show. New episodes release every Thursday through your favorite podcast player or bfytwpod.com. We're also a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network and would love for you to join us for some laughs.
So I have kind of a wild story, and it's much more wild in the sense that like there's no resolution. There's no actionable takeaway. There's nothing else I can do with this information. But it was just kind of bizarre. Okay. So Bree and I just celebrated our wedding anniversary this past weekend.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We went to Valentina's, as I mentioned in the first half, had a very nice
Shout out to Spencer Valentino.
shout out to Spencer and the pesto shrimp pasta. And we went to see Downton Abbey, the grand finale.
Very nice.
Such a nice movie. We can talk about that more later. We did a little bit of shopping. And then on the way home, we decided to get a smoothie. Bree wanted a smoothie because we had like a big lunch. So she just wanted something lighter after dinner time. So we stop in New Albany at a place where we normally get smoothies. We pull up to the window or pull up to the drive-through ordering thing. And the first thing you say right away is, please hold on. I'll be with you in a moment while you look at the menu. Pretty standard. I've asked on the podcast, what's your normal amount of time that you would wait at a drive-through? This isn't a 2 drive-through, so no one else is going to pull in front of me, but I am sitting there for, I'm not going to exaggerate on any of these times. These are real times. I sat there for 5 minutes and waited.
Long time. Yeah.
And if it wasn't our anniversary and if it wasn't the only thing that my wife wanted, we probably would have left. And she even said, we can just go. And I'm like, nope, we don't have anywhere else to be. Our daughter was with grandparents for the night. You want a smoothie. She really loves this particular smoothie. I'm like, we're not in a rush. We don't have anywhere to be. It's totally fine. So finally, because I'm going to ask how you would respond. But finally, I'm like, I have to say something. This has been a very long time that I've been sitting right through. Again, not exaggerating, 5 minutes. I feel like I'm being pretty reasonable. And I say, excuse me, just want to make sure we're still supposed to be waiting. Feels pretty feels pretty nice after about 5 minutes. I barely finish the words and I get a very loud, I'm going to try to not like overblow the mic. I get a very loud, yes, sir, please keep waiting. We have somebody in the drive-thru window. It's okay. So I just hold, wait another minute or two, and then I get a very quick, yes, how can I take your order? Thing. And I just say, mango, pineapple, whatever it's called. Mango, pineapple smoothie. That's all. So sorry about your wait. I'll pay for it when you get around. That's what they say back. That's a weird thing to say back. I'll pay for it when you get around.
That is a weird thing, yeah.
Because normally you're just getting a total. Fine. Pull forward. There's a car at the window. There's a car in front of me now. I'm the third car, but I'm ahead of the ordering thing.
Yeah.
We'll pull up. Sit there. Zero exaggeration. We're there for over 10 minutes.
Oy.
This car at the window has not moved the entire time from when I've pulled around to the 10-minute mark. In this amount of time, there's lots of yelling out of this BMW sitting at the window.
Probably didn't even use their blinker to get in there.
Lots of yelling. Probably didn't. I see the drive-through person gesticulating from the window.
Yeah.
I see the person from the car still yelling. I see the drive-through person holding their phone out the window as if to let somebody speak from the phone to the person in the drive-through. I'm guessing a manager, maybe an owner, something like that. At this point, I'm very subtly trying to pull my phone camera up.
Yeah.
Hoping to capture some sort of moment of something that could be entertaining. Lots of, arms moving, things like that. Unfortunately, there is no escalation. And I wasn't hoping that there would be violence, to speak to what we said at the beginning of the episode, but I was hoping something that would be entertaining for social media to watch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, nothing.
Guys got a podcast. Somebody get out of the car and start yelling.
Somebody do something. Reveal some sort of like Maury Povich level drama. Didn't happen. Anyways, so finally, this car speeds off at an unreasonable acceleration rate. Next car pulls up.
Without using their blinker.
Of course not.
Beamer.
Next car pulls up. They move relatively quickly. I'm listening. I'm trying to overhear, because now certainly there has to be some explanation to the people that have been waiting. Not an exaggeration, at least 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That person, I'm sort of overhearing, oh, she comes in all the time and just demands free. So I'm hearing a little bit of like, somebody comes a lot and asks for free stuff. I've worked in food service. I get it. This is the thing that people do. Sometimes there are people who are just having a bad day. Sometimes there are people who are repeat that are clearly, and sometimes some people have legitimate gripes. Some people clearly are just trying to scam for free food and come through and do things regularly.
Yeah.
It sounds as though this is the case. So let me jump back real quick. If you've been sitting for 5 minutes, how do you politely say? Have you just pulled away at that point, or how do you politely say, "Hey, how long do I do this drive-through, people? Do you have did I handle it fairly?" It's like, "Hey, just making sure."
Oh, absolutely.
I'm still supposed to be waiting. Is that reasonable?
Not only is it reasonable, it's more than that. You and I are very similar. We're both extraordinarily patient people in these kinds of circumstances. When I'm in that scenario and I'm the one, right, like you were at the speaker, I would say, "Excuse me," but I would try to like make sure that my tone wasn't aggressive. But however, I also understand that it's difficult to say that, and the other person is going to take it however they want to take it, so they might take it aggressively.
Yeah, that's fair.
But which is why I think you go the extra mile and say more than just "excuse me." You try to put together a sentence that which I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because like I'm so mad, I don't care if you misconstrue my "excuse me."
Yeah. I think that's
handled
too many years in like having done food and retail and service and sales stuff that I'm just like overly polite, because what I'm doing is I'm sitting in the car now for the 10-minute portion after I've ordered 10 minutes plus minimum 10 minutes. I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know what happened. Benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had a huge order for a party, like not a party, but like for a business or for a bunch of family members, and they totally forgot about the order and they're upset because maybe they just handed them a $20 bill and only got $1 back and felt like they got scammed out of $10 or something. I don't know what.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm trying to be like assume positive intent, be kind of reasonable. And I'm overhearing. I don't get any good recording. I wish I did. I'm overhearing a little bit of the gentleman in front of me getting his thing, and kind of like, she comes in all the time. She's in a BMW. Okay. So these are the details I have. Not being critical if you own a BMW, but maybe a little self introspection is helpful. Anyways, so I pull up to the window. The person in the window is clearly very exasperated. And she just starts like falling over herself to apply. "I'm so sorry. Here's you just take the smoothie. It's on me." Just said no. So I'm at this point. I'm like, "I'm so sorry. No. We'll pay. We're not. We waited, sure, but like we'll pay. But like, are you okay?" Was my question. Like it was a lot of yelling in the back and the forth. And so like I think she now realizes that there's not multiple people hopefully behind that are angry at her. It's actually like, it seemed the person in front of me was sympathetic. I'm being sympathetic. And so like almost like a deep breath, and then finally slows down long enough to say this, which I'm sure she shouldn't have done, but I don't want, I get it. She's like, "This lady comes in all the time in her $250,000 car, and she orders in the app and everything's right in the app." She's telling me the whole thing. "And she does an add-on of some mix-in that's $1 more, and she sees it in the app and places it for pickup, and then comes and complains and always wants her $1 back. She does this all the time." So this was a 15 plus minute buildup over $1 add-on.
Yeah.
From somebody in a smoothie line. And I said, "I'm so sorry. Hopefully your night goes better. We're happy to pay for the smoothie." She's like, "No, just take it. You've waited long enough." And
wow.
Are you sure? So I say all of that to say, first of all, if you're going to make a ruckus in public, at least make it good enough so people can record it. Okay.
If you're going to put on a show, put on a show.
Put on a show. Like if you don't do something that forces people to want to write Karen in the name of the video, to like, or Kevin, whatever we call the male equivalent of that, like, don't cause a ruckus if you're not going to cause enough ruckus that it's entertaining. You know
exactly, because you already are a Karen or a Kevin. Only now, like, you also won't commit. So
yeah, if you're going to do
two
that,
strikes.
Commit to the bit and make it truly entertaining. Maybe we can even get you fired or canceled if it's entertaining enough. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's tip number one. Second, if you're not going to do that, just be kind to one another and maybe don't get upset over $1. It's $1 and it's not worth it, especially when it's on you. It's like ordering DoorDash and then being mad that you saw the fees and decided to pay anyways. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And the demand for them back. And
How
then,
dare you charge me $20 for cold Taco Bell? It's like, well, you hit deliver. So,
yeah,
you know, I don't understand.
unbelievable. Speaking of things I don't understand, college football.
Yes.
And I have an idea. These are the I'll flesh it out more probably on my own in my own head over time, but if and when somebody asks me, "Hey, Kendall, will you fix college football for us?"
Mm-hmm. I'm asking.
I have a thought. We've had all of these issues. There's 5 gajillion different college football teams. There's all these games happening this time of year that college football fans don't actually want to watch. Even if it's your own team, like you watch them anyway because you love your Buckeyes or you love your Wolverines and you want to see what they look like against the local high schools. But
I think they're called Little Sisters of the Poor.
that's
I think that's what those teams are called. Sorry, continue.
And the playoff structure. Here's what I think we need to do. And this is something that pieces of this have been clamored about in recent years, and I agree. And I recognize also that nothing that I'm about to say is actually feasible.
Mm-hmm.
But this is because the first thing that needs to happen is the Power 4 conferences.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pretend that the Pac-12 is still a thing. There's 2 teams literally this year.
Yeah, they'll have like 8 by
they'll have a few more next year, but it doesn't. Whatever.
Yeah.
The Power 4 conferences currently, as they stand, get together and they say, you know what? We think that we can do this better than the NCAA. And that's not to say that so NCAA football will still exist.
Right.
It's just no longer the top tier.
Okay.
Right. It's forever like, the MAC and everyone else, like they can all be NCAA schools. The NCAA is an organization that needs to exist in order for college sports when it comes to like, it's huge for basketball. And then obviously like, rowing and tennis and things like that. You need the NCAA for these things. The Power 4 football programs would do better without it. In my opinion, they could govern things far more efficiently.
So you're suggesting a college football Premier League is what you're suggesting.
Basically, yes. And so here's my thought. There are some difficult decisions to be made because not everybody necessarily who is currently in these conferences belongs there.
Yeah.
You might have to pare it down a little bit more. So you take the Power 4 and you draw a line through the United States that goes from like Maine through Texas.
Okay.
All right. And so now you've essentially created in other sports, most other sports, it would be called 2 different conferences, the East and West, or in this case, you could call it Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, or North and South. However, you have your options there on nomenclature. Because the word conference has such a huge, heavy traditional meaning in the college football world, I wouldn't use conferences. I would go the baseball route and use leagues. So you would have like East League and West League. And then each league is made up then of 2 conferences, right? The Western League would be the Big 10 Conference and the Big 12. Okay. And then the Eastern League, you would have SEC, ACC. Okay. And then whatever we want to keep from the Pac-12 can get divvied up. However that'll happen. This means that like Rutgers and Maryland are no longer, they would have to be ACC or SEC at this point, and we would have to level those conferences out. I think the proper number there would be 10. 10, well, maybe 10 and 12. Big 12 can change their name or they don't. It doesn't matter. I don't care. 10 schools each. 20 schools per league, 10 schools per conference. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what you have. You only play schools during the regular season within your own league. Okay.
Yeah.
You would do something like 10 games against your opponents, just like we do now. You trade on and off, home and away, year by year. And then 2 schools, you roll through them every 5 years, right? 2 schools from the other conference in your league.
Same league, but different conference.
Same league, but different conference.
Right.
And that is your regular season schedule. You are always playing a Power 4 school during your regular season schedule, period. You are playing absolutely everybody in your own conference.
Okay.
When you do all of that, now that everybody in all of the conferences has played each other, it's now a little bit more fair, now a little bit more easier to set up the playoff scenario that I would love to see. And this is also borrowing this idea from baseball.
Okay.
We don't just take all of college football and create a ranking. What we do is we do a 4-team playoff for conference champions for each conference. Okay. And then you have, so in the West, you would then, after that little 4-team playoff, you would have your Big Ten champion and your Big East champion, and they will play for the Western League Championship.
Yep.
Okay. And then you're doing the same thing on the East, and then those 2 come together for your big championship bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And then for all of the other teams who made the playoffs, you have other bowl games, but then you're literally stacking according to how far teams went through the playoffs. All bowl games, including the championship game, are going to be the the Western League team versus the Eastern League team that fared the same in their playoff. So every bowl game is a league versus league game.
Okay.
And this comes to my favorite part. You'd have to figure out a way, flip a coin or whatever for this first year, but then every subsequent year after that, you take a look at all of those bowl games and you just count West or East, who won the most bowl games. The answer to that question, they host the championship game on campus the following year. None of these bowl games, every single one of these bowl games is going to be on a college campus. It's going to be a home game for somebody.
Yeah.
Because I think that's huge. I think we've learned with the playoff last year how well that works.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of your idea so far. In that I feel like if I'm, you have the sort of wave the magic wand scenario.
Yeah.
The light version of that would be take our current system and one more round is on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just changing one more round. Because what was it? First round was on campus, second round.
Just first round. Just first round,
first
I think.
and second round on campuses. That would be the easiest, most subtle change that I think would make the energy and sort of like the vibe check for like the game day atmosphere would be so much better. Sorry, continue.
No, I mean, that's pretty much the end of my thought as I was putting together. I'm sure there's holes left and right in here. And I realize that there is some, maybe for some people, for some heartbreaking stuff here, but there's some things that I take into consideration. I'm not getting rid of conferences altogether. And by and large, the big rivalry games that we love to see will be intact still. Those will still happen. Nobody cares when Michigan plays Rutgers. But they care if Michigan plays Ohio State. Michigan will still play Ohio State.
Yeah.
Every year. And if you have an interconference game, that's one of those like Red River rivalry had been, and things like that, then maybe you figure out a way to do that. But that's what I'm proposing. You keep you bring things back to regionality, which I think speaks to a lot of people.
Yeah.
All of your games matter. And all of your games are potential challenges. They're all potential losses. Your playoff system, your playoff games are still in-house. If you do good enough, that's your reward.
Yeah.
Championship games, winning your bowl game, if you finished second, third, or fourth in the playoffs or whatever, it's still in your best interest to win your bowl game because maybe you'll be vying for that championship next year.
Do you feel like, how do you feel like it goes? What happens if like the Big 12 has a way worse year than the Big 10? And now you're trying to like line up even matches where like the top 3 or 4 teams in the Big Ten are 11-1, and the top in the Big 12 are
Yeah.
9-3, 9-3. 8-4, 8-4. Like,
I feel like I have two thoughts there. The first one is you can't get away from that completely. I mean, even the pro leagues have this problem. The way they try to deal with it is a draft system that's weighted for worse teams.
yeah,
Which currently maybe you could do something like that. I don't think you can do anything like that for college, but I feel like enough teams per conference get in. If there's only 10 teams per conference and 4 of them make the playoffs, that seems to be about the number, something a little less than half. All professional sports seem to be going that way. That's something that I'm sure a lot of people have decided that, like, from a marketing perspective, like this is what works best. This is what makes the most fans happy. This is what brings in the most revenue for TV. Things like that is a little less than half of teams make playoffs.
yeah,
And so if that's the case, like you're going to have some teams like in the Big Ten who did really, really well. That team who's at 5 and 6, maybe even 7, who are going to feel a little bit gypped out of the whole thing.
yeah.
But I mean, if you made it to your top 4, you were probably going to be like one of those top 4 teams was probably going to be the champion anyway, right?
Yeah, that's true. One thing I would find a lot of enjoyment in is making a Excel spreadsheet and figuring out the leagues, like stacking them all appropriately. And you could argue that
Plug it into an algorithm and do some fake years.
Speaking of AI being useful, I feel like the argument could be once you blend the Big Ten and Big 12 into the same league, do you then just split by region instead of the traditional whatever? So like,
right. I think you try to keep it traditional, but you make some changes. Again, this is the magic wand scenario, right? So
yeah.
Oregon's going to be Big 12, not Big 10.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think I would enjoy the exercise of like trying to figure out where they would go. And like,
I looked at a map to see, like, of those 4 conferences, where would a line kind of naturally fall as it is right now, which is where I drew my line.
yeah,
Is how I drew my line. And then just realized that there were some outliers here or there that we would just have to deal with, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal because they were all new teams to their conference anyway, and so nobody would care.
wouldn't really matter. Yeah, I play a version of that a lot in the college football video games because you can go into Dynasty and do custom conferences. And so I'm constantly tinkering with like, okay, let's restore the Pac-12. Now let's add BYU, Boise State, Hawaii,
Colorado,
San Diego State, Colorado. Okay, now what happens if the ACC were to split and let's say it collapsed? So where do those best teams go? Clemson and Florida State and Miami all go to the SEC. Then you've got like, does Virginia and Virginia Tech go up into the Big Ten? So like I play that game a lot as I'm fiddling with custom conferences just because I enjoy the exercise of like seeing where people could land as I play around in my head of like, what if I tried to make them all 12-team leagues? Now what if I try to make them all 16? Now what if I tried to make them 20-team? And then I'm like, and then you see the greater 5 conferences getting smaller and smaller because I'm sending more and more teams into the Power 4, Power 5. It's a lot of fun. That's one of those real things I could nerd out over and just sit and like goof around with custom conferences for 2 hours. Not even play a game. I'm just sitting there goofing around, moving teams around.
Yeah.
So I might have to make an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, dude. Oh, another one of the things this does, I just remembered this, is that it gets rid of the any kind of playoff committee. It gets rid of AP mattering, like into the coaches poll. This is, you're just counting wins and losses because you dwindled the teams down to where it makes sense to go by wins and losses.
The thing that I would get excited about as you started shuffling teams around is like getting to see, theoretically, you're seeing like not just the Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, whatever in the SEC, but some of those teams that would be probably lumped in to the Power 4. You might get to see like Cincinnati, West Virginia, Pitt, Maryland, all in the same general region or playing each other more regularly, which is fun.
Yeah, some of those more minor teams will start popping out a little bit more because they're playing each other.
Yeah, that to me feels really
also, what you get is you get Ohio State, Alabama every 5 years.
Love it.
You get Ohio State, LSU every 5 years. Ohio State, Florida every 5 years.
Love it. Yeah, sign me up. Especially with on-campus games. I want to see like we saw in the playoffs last year. I want to see people like Tennessee run out into the shoe in December when it's frigid with no shirts on, and then
Absolutely.
quickly realize how bad of an idea that was.
Maybe for that reason, we specifically named them North and South. Just
Yeah,
because, I mean, even though there's going to be Texas teams in the North Division, but whatever.
we'll figure it out. I'm gonna have to play around with Excel now and see if I can try to push for some rigidity to the traditional Power Four, but like some things are gonna have to flex. It just is what it is. So
And I feel like most of the things are very soft compromises, or like most college football fans would be like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. We never cared about, Colorado State being in a Power Five conference anyway, unless you're a Colorado State fan, right?
Yeah.
So that's not to say, hey, I love Colorado State. I root for Colorado State. Like they are a very fun story, and I don't know what it is about Deion Sanders, but I love the guy.
Oh, just Colorado, not Colorado.
Or not Colorado State, Colorado. Buffaloes.
Yeah. I've also heard people toy around with the idea of relegation with the Greater Five and the Power Five.
Yeah.
Because each region kind of has their own automatic pairing because you've got like the former Pac-12 had the Mountain West, the Big Ten has the MAC, the ACC had the Big East, the SEC had ACC or Sun Belt, depending on how you break them up. So like there's already sort of like a feeder league within the region if you had just stacked and then you do bottom two, top two rotate, So I've heard people propose that as well. Could be interesting. You can imagine like the best MAC team getting fed up into the Big Ten, and you've got like BG and OU that replace Northwestern and Indiana.
Yeah, maybe we could go that direction eventually.
Yeah,
I don't hate the idea. I'd listen to it.
I'm open to ideas. As long as they figure out a way to protect certain rivalry games, and I don't, the rest of it's already. We've got West Coast teams with playing ACC schools. We've got, it's nutty. So I love the idea though. Now I'm going to have to play with Excel and see how it looks.
All right. Got that off my chest.
Good for you. Speaking of getting things off your chest, you probably need some bathroom products to help with things like that. And we're partnered with Artius Man, ARTIUSMAN.com. Go to artiusman.com, use promo code The Middle. They make great men's grooming, skincare, bathroom products, all locally made here in Columbus, Ohio, by really great friends of the show. And definitely go support them. We're getting to that time of the season where people are going to start thinking about Christmas. Or maybe you want to order stuff to hand out at Halloween. I don't know. I don't know what your budget looks like. Maybe that's in the budget for you. But if you use promo code The Middle, you'll save 25% off your first order. It helps you get a great discount. It helps us. It helps them. It's a win, 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 win. Probably not 5 wins, but you get the idea. So check out Artius Man. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, maybe we don't invite Corey back. You know what I mean? Maybe this is a food and sports podcast now. So thank you for listening. Have a great week.